Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick, and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money, because you know schools aren't, so let's get started. So in this video, we're going over probably the most boring topic in the world, our credit scores. So let's talk about how to improve your credit score. Well, there's no real way around it, guys. Sorry, credit scores. The topic is just really boring. I'm going to try to make it interesting for us. But it is important. We do have to realize that, because most things that are important are usually kind of boring. But let's talk about what it is. Like, why do you need it? Well, if you're borrowing money for whatever reason, usually for loans, like if you're going to student loans, credit cards, big ones that you need a credit score for are car loans and mortgages. Now, a credit score only matters, to be completely honest, if you're borrowing money. If you never need to borrow money in your life, you don't need a credit score whatsoever. But most of us do need to borrow money. Usually, I would say the most thing that people borrow for is a house, like a mortgage, right? You don't have $250,000 set up somewhere. Now, you can, but most people don't. Now, before getting into it, I want to show you guys my credit score, just to show you that, like, I'm just not talking. Like, I have a pretty good one. I don't want to brag, but I want to show you guys that it works. So you could see in the history, is above 800. So it's pretty solid, honestly. The score does range between 300 and 850. So having above that 800 is actually exceptional. Again, no means to brag about it, and it's nothing to brag about. It just means that you're paying your bills. But like, I wanted to show you guys that I have that, because if I had like a 500 credit score, why would you even listen to me? I wouldn't listen to someone if they're talking about credit score when they have a 500 score. So I'm 25, and recently it dropped a little bit just because I spent more than I normally did because of the recent holiday season, and I am paying it off, so everything's good. It'll probably rebound over 800 soon. But still, this level at 25, I don't want people to think like, oh, you could only have this type of score if you're, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm 25, it's possible. Now, at the end of the video, after going over how to improve it, I'll actually tell you what I've done to achieve this. But the first thing to realize is actually looking at a credit score, or, since you're a borrower, I would suggest looking at it from a lender's perspective, their point of view of what you would look like. So basically, if you have a lot of credit cards, if you have a lot of debt, if you have a lot of late payments, what do you think your credit score is going to look like? Do you think people are going to lend that type of person money? I mean, they can, but they would not like to. Now, a good question to ask yourself is, would you give money to yourself? Now, don't be biased because it's you, but, if you have late payments, if you have a crap load of debt, would you give money to yourself? And how to improve that is kind of simple from that, like have less debt and have that type of stuff. So let's get into improving that. The first thing that I would tackle, and is the easiest thing to just change like instantaneously, is stop paying late payments. If it is set up, or if something is due on the 25th, and it's super simple, you could go online, you could set up automatic payments now. So if it's due on the 25th, pay it on the 24th. Done. So this super simple change could not only help improve your credit score a bit, but it will also save you money, because every single late payment, there's a charge for that, as well as interest payments. So they are insignificant, I don't know, whatever it is, if it's $35 every here and there, it is insignificant, but it adds up over time. So stop paying late. So the next thing that I would start to look at is paying off your credit cards. If you look at how many credit cards you even have, again, look at it from a lender's perspective. If someone has a bunch of credit cards with a bunch of debt on all of those credit cards, they would much rather not give that person money than a person with less credit cards and less debt. A quick example is if you have like $10,000 available on, let's say, all of your cards or even on one card, but you have a balance of, let's say, $9,000 or even the full $10,000 on that card. That's not really attractive. So the kind of tricky part is that it's good to have like a little bit of balance, because when you pay it off, it shows that you pay off that balance. But you shouldn't have a huge balance, because that's not good either. You kind of need an in-between type of thing. So I would suggest paying off the debt that you have, because it is still debt and you do not want that, as well as there are interest payments along with it. So when you're paying this debt off, it is not only helping your credit, but you are saving money because you have no more late payments, like we said before, and now you have less interest to pay. Now, if you are new or have a very, very low credit score or zero credit score, a way to start or start again, like a reset, is getting a secured credit card. I do have another video talking about it. I'll try to find it, leave a link down below. But basically, you have a card that you're using your own money. So when you pay yourself back, it shows like banks and lenders that you're able to pay debt off. Now, honestly, those are the main reasons, or the main ways how to improve your credit score, guys. The main reasons or factors to really focus on. Now, maybe if you have like one or two cards that are like maxed out, or just with very low balances, or like available balances, like if you're new and only have one card, you could try to open up a second one, just so there's more available credit that you're able to use. You don't necessarily need to use it, but just to show that you're capable of having that and not screwing it up. So if you're interested of knowing what I've done to get to the level that I'm at, again, I'm 25. I have, I think, a total of like 4 or 5 cards, but I only use like 2. I have a Discover, and if they don't take Discover, I use something else. So that's basically it. I basically have 2 main ones. I don't pay late payments. You know, as soon as I get the bill in, I go online and set it up. You know, if it's due on the 25th, say, hey, pay it on the 24th. Now, I have also never paid interest. You know, whatever the balance is on the card, I pay that off every single month. If it's $500, the bill, I pay them $500. I don't pay the minimum payments. And honestly, that's kind of it, guys. Like, it's not like I had a goal of I need to improve my credit score. I literally only focused on, hey, I have a bill, I'm going to pay it. Now, I do realize that it is sometimes hard to find extra money to put toward this debt that we have. So I do have another video going over budgeting for the new year 2018. I'll leave a link in the description down below for you guys to check out. I would suggest kind of just doing yourself a favor. Like, stop having money control you. I definitely like controlling my money better. You know, you're happier that way. So I would definitely suggest doing that. And real quick, there is cash back on these cards. My main card, Discover card, cashback is great and all, but there are studies that show like people spend 20 to 30% more on something because they get the cash back. They're like, oh, I'm gonna spend an extra $100 to get an extra buck. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't suggest that. Don't really focus on the cash back. Focus on, if you have to buy something, buy it. But then think of the cash back as a bonus. So focus on paying off those small credit card debts first, and then when you're out of those, snowball that money into the larger credit card debts that we have. And I think that's a pretty solid way to start. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money, because I believe that we could get a hold of our money and stop following the man. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.